You trespass on our world, human.
I bring an offer of peace, not war.
The sun was falling slowly behind the sharp black trees of the alien jungle, and the world looked tired and angry. Dust floated in the air, and the ground was cracked like old skin that had forgotten water. A lone human walked through this place with slow, careful steps, carrying a small bag on his shoulder and pain in his legs. His name did not matter much anymore. Out here, names had no value, only survival did. He was not a soldier, not a hero, not a scientist. He was just a human who fixed machines for small credits and moved from planet to planet. This planet was supposed to be empty. That was what the maps said. But maps often lied. The human stopped when he heard a weak sound. It was not loud, not dangerous. It sounded like someone breathing while trying not to die. He followed the sound carefully, his hand ready near the small tool knife on his belt. Then he saw it. An alien body lay near a broken tree. Tall, wide, and clearly strong even while injured. Its skin was dark blue with deep scars that looked old and respected. Fresh blood soaked the ground under its side. One leg was twisted badly, and its chest moved slowly. The human froze. He knew this species. Everyone knew this species. They were tribal aliens. They rode beasts, hunted in groups, and followed old laws. Humans said they showed no mercy. Humans said they killed first and asked nothing later. The smart thing was to walk away. The safe thing was to turn back slowly and pretend he never saw this. The human took one step back. Then he stopped. He looked at the alien's face. The eyes were closed, but the expression was not angry. It looked tired, almost peaceful. The human sighed quietly. He opened his bag and checked what he had. A small repair kit, dry food bars, a half-charged scanner, and one last bottle of clean water. Water was life on this planet, more valuable than credits, more valuable than weapons. If he gave the water away, he would have almost nothing left. If he stayed, he could be killed when the alien woke up. If the tribe found him, he would not even get a chance to explain. The jungle was silent, too silent. The human walked closer, slowly, showing empty hands. He knelt beside the alien and gently lifted its head just a little. The alien did not move. "Don't make me regret this," the human whispered. He opened the bottle and let a few drops of water touch the alien's lips. At first nothing happened. Then the alien coughed weakly. Its eyes opened suddenly, glowing faintly in the dark. For one long second, human and alien stared at each other. Fear hit the human like ice in his chest. The alien tried to speak. The sound was rough and broken. The human could not understand the words. Still, he tilted the bottle again and let the alien drink a little more. Not too much, just enough. The alien's breathing slowed. Its grip on the human's arm tightened for a moment, then relaxed. The alien said one clear word in a strange, heavy voice. It sounded like thanks. Then, using strength the human did not expect, the alien pulled itself up. Blood dripped as it moved. It looked at the human one last time, its eyes sharp and burning with meaning. Without another sound, the alien disappeared into the jungle. Gone. The human stayed frozen. His heart pounded hard. His hand shook. "That's it," he said quietly. "I'm dead." He looked at the empty water bottle in his hand. The choice was made. There was no taking it back. Night came fast. The jungle filled with distant roars and moving shadows. The human built a small fire and sat close to it, his back against a rock. He kept thinking about the alien's eyes. They did not look like the eyes of someone who would forget a debt. If you are enjoying this story so far, and you love slow build suspense HFY sci-fi like this, gently consider subscribing to this channel for more stories like this. The fire crackled. Something large moved in the dark trees. Then something else. The human held his breath, waiting for the consequence of one small act that should have meant nothing. Darkness did not fall on the jungle, it crushed it. The fire the human had made looked small and weak, like a lie trying to stand against the truth of the night. The trees around him were tall and thick, their shapes twisting into strange forms as shadows moved between them. Every sound felt louder now. Every small movement felt closer than it really was. The human sat still, his back pressed against the cold rock, his eyes moving slowly from side to side. He did not sleep. He knew sleeping here would be a mistake he would not wake up from. Somewhere far away, a deep roar echoed through the jungle. It was not an animal he knew. It was slow, powerful, and confident, like something that knew it owned this land. The human swallowed and added another small piece of wood to the fire. The flames jumped higher for a moment, then settled again. Light pushed the darkness back just a little, but not enough. His mind kept replaying the same moment again and again. The alien's eyes opening, the grip on his arm, the look that felt like a promise. He remembered the stories humans told in space stations. Stories about tribal aliens who never forgot a face. Stories about debts paid in blood. Stories about entire camps wiped out for smaller mistakes than kindness. The human checked his scanner. No signal. No ships nearby. No help coming. A soft crack came from the left. Not loud, but close. The human slowly turned his head. He saw nothing. Just trees, shadows, and darkness. Then another sound came. Heavy, slow footsteps. Too steady to be an animal running wild. Something was walking out there. Something large. The human's breathing became shallow. He kept his hands visible, even though no one could see him clearly. It was an old habit, a useless one maybe, but it made him feel less helpless. The fire flickered suddenly. For a brief second, glowing eyes appeared between the trees. Not one pair. Many. The human's heart slammed hard against his chest. He counted at least 6 sets of eyes before the light shifted, and they vanished again. He did not move, did not run. Running would only make him prey. Minutes passed like hours. The sounds moved around him in a slow circle. Never too close, never too far. He realized then that he was being watched, not hunted, observed. That scared him more than an attack would have. His thoughts drifted to his past, to the reason he was alone on this planet. Years ago, he had trusted the wrong people. A deal gone bad. A ship taken from him. Friends who chose credits over loyalty. Since then, he survived by fixing things. Machines, doors, engines. Anything broken. Anything easier to understand than people. Another roar echoed, this one closer. The ground vibrated slightly under his feet. Leaves fell from the trees. The human closed his eyes for a brief second. Not to rest, but to prepare himself. If this is how it ends, he whispered, at least it was my choice. The fire suddenly died lower. The last piece of wood turned to glowing red. Darkness rushed in like water filling an empty space. That was when he heard breathing. Deep, controlled. Right beyond the edge of the light. A shadow moved, large and tall, blocking the stars for a moment. The human's muscles tightened, but he stayed still. Then, just as suddenly, the shadow stepped back. The breathing faded. The jungle sound slowly returned. No attack came. No blade. No claws. The night continued, heavy and waiting, as if testing him. By the time the sky began to change color, the human realized something important. If the tribe wanted him dead, he would already be dead. Whatever was coming next. This night of fear was only the beginning. Morning did not bring peace. It brought weight. The sky slowly turned from black to dark gray, and then to a dull orange. Mist rose from the ground, thick and cold, wrapping the jungle like a warning. The human was still awake. His eyes burned. His body ached, but fear had kept him standing. The fire was long dead. Only black ash remained. Then the ground shook. At first it felt like thunder far away. A low rolling vibration that moved through his feet and into his chest. He froze, holding his breath. The shaking grew stronger. Rhythmic, heavy, controlled. Something big was coming. Birds exploded from the trees, screaming into the sky. Leaves fell in waves. Branches snapped like dry bones. The human slowly stepped onto a rock to see farther. What he saw made his blood run cold. Shapes moved through the mist. Huge shapes. Stripes appeared first, black and gold, cutting through the fog. Tigers. Not normal ones. These were massive beasts, taller than a human at the shoulder, muscles rolling under thick fur, eyes sharp and intelligent. And they were not alone. On their backs sat armored figures, the same species as the injured alien. Tall, powerful, holding long spears and curved blades that caught the morning light. The human counted without meaning to. 1, 2, 5, 10. More kept coming. The jungle opened for them, as if it knew better than to resist. The beasts moved in perfect order, calm, confident, unstoppable. At the center of the formation rode a familiar figure, the injured alien. No longer weak, no longer bleeding. Bandages wrapped its body, tribal markings painted fresh across its skin. Its eyes were sharp now, alive and focused. The human felt his legs go weak. So this was it. He stepped down from the rock and stood in the open. Running would be useless. Hiding would be an insult. The tigers stopped just outside the clearing. Every beast sat perfectly still. Every rider watched him in silence. The air felt heavy, like the jungle itself was holding its breath. Then the injured alien raised one hand. The signal was simple, clear. The tigers moved forward together, each step slow and deliberate. The ground trembled under their weight. The human forced himself not to step back. His heart hammered hard, but his face stayed calm. The central tiger stopped only a few meters away. The injured alien climbed down, landing solidly on the ground. Up close, the alien was even larger than the human remembered. Scars covered its body like metals. Its presence alone felt dangerous. The alien studied the human carefully, from his empty hands, to his worn boots, to the empty water bottle still hanging from his bag. The alien spoke. The words were deep and strong, echoing slightly. The human did not understand the language, but he understood the tone. Judgment. Another alien stepped forward, smaller, wearing strange devices on its neck and arms. It spoke again, slower this time. A rough translation came through, broken but clear enough. You broke the balance. The human swallowed. He nodded once, accepting whatever that meant. I gave water, he said calmly. That is all I did. A low murmur moved through the tribe. Some sounded angry. Some sounded surprised. The injured alien raised its hand again. Silence returned instantly. It stepped closer to the human, until they stood face to face. The size difference was clear. The power difference even more so. The alien placed one hand on its chest, then pointed to the human. It spoke a single word slowly. The translator struggled, then finally spoke. Life debt. The human's breath caught. He had heard that word before. Only in rumors. Only in warnings. Before he could respond, the ground shook again. This time from behind the formation. The tribe parted, and something new emerged from the mist. Another tiger, larger than the rest. Its armor was white, decorated with silver markings. Riding it was a figure unlike the others. Tall, graceful, powerful, clothed in ceremonial armor. The human felt something shift in the air. Whatever he thought this moment would be, he knew now he had been wrong. The beasts had not come for revenge. They had come for something far more serious. The jungle felt different now. Not wild, not loud, but controlled, as if every leaf and shadow knew who truly ruled this land. The large white-armored tiger stepped forward and stopped beside the injured alien. The rider did not move, did not speak. Yet everyone felt their authority. The human stood still, his hands open, his body tense but calm. He could feel dozens of eyes watching him, judging him, weighing his worth. The injured alien turned toward the white-armored rider and bowed its head slightly. That single action told the human everything. This was not just a warrior. This was leadership. The rider finally stepped down from the tiger. The armor was smooth and bright, marked with symbols carved deep and clean. Each symbol told a story of age, honor, and blood. The leader spoke. The voice was calm, deep, and certain. The translator alien stepped closer, adjusting its device. You stand before the tribe of the Silent Claw, the translator said. A tribe older than your stars. The human listened without interrupting. He knew better than to speak now. The leader pointed toward the empty bottle hanging from the human's bag. A low sound moved through the tribe. Not anger. Something closer to shock. You gave water, the translator continued slowly, to one who was fallen. The leader's eyes narrowed slightly. In our law, water is not kindness. It is life. The human felt his throat tighten. He had given water without thinking, without knowing. The leader raised one hand. Two warriors stepped forward, placing the ends of their spears into the ground. This was not a threat. It was ceremony. When one gives water, the translator said, a bond is formed. Not of friendship, not of trade. A bond of fate. The jungle seemed to grow quieter. Even the wind slowed. The injured alien stepped forward and spoke. This time the translator struggled more, the words heavy and old. I was marked for death. My blood touched the ground. My breath was leaving me. The alien looked directly at the human. You did not ask who I was. You did not ask what I could give. You gave life. The tribe responded with a deep, unified sound. It was not applause. It was respect. The human's mind raced. This was not how it was supposed to go. He had expected anger, punishment, death. The leader turned slightly, addressing the entire tribe now. Our law is clear, the translator said. Life given must be returned. Some of the warriors shifted uncomfortably. Others stood taller. The leader continued. If an enemy gives water, he is no longer an enemy. The human felt a strange weight settle in his chest. Not relief. Not yet. The leader's gaze sharpened. But the law does not end there. The translator paused, as if even the device needed time. A life bond demands balance. What is taken must be answered. The human finally spoke, his voice steady but quiet. I did not want payment, he said. I just did not want him to die. A ripple of reaction moved through the tribe. Surprise, confusion, interest. The leader studied him closely. As expected of humans, the translator said, always breaking what they do not understand. The leader raised one hand again. The ground trembled slightly as the tigers lowered their heads. You will not be harmed, the translator said, but you will not be free. The words landed heavier than a threat. The human's stomach tightened. Then what am I? He asked. The leader stepped closer, until only a few steps separated them. The height difference was clear, the power difference undeniable. You are bound, the translator said softly, to our law, to our future. The leader turned and gestured toward the white-armored tiger. The ceremonial figure remained silent, watching. The tribe must move, the translator continued, and you will move with us. The human looked around, at the warriors, at the beasts, at the jungle that no longer felt empty. He realized something then. Giving water had not saved a life. It had changed a path. The leader spoke one final sentence before turning away. By sunset, the translator said, you will understand what you have begun. The tigers shifted. The tribe began to move. And the human took his first step into a law far older than humanity. The tribe moved as one, slow and steady. The tigers walked in perfect lines, their heavy paws pressing patterns into the soft ground. The jungle opened paths that did not exist moments before, as if the land itself obeyed them. The human walked in the center, unbound yet unable to leave. Two warriors stayed close, not touching him, not threatening him. Their presence alone was enough. As they moved deeper, the air changed. It grew cooler, cleaner, filled with the smell of water and stone. Then the drums began. Low sounds rolled through the trees, deep and rhythmic. They were not loud, but they were powerful. Each beat felt like it hit the human's chest instead of his ears. The procession slowed. Warriors straightened their posture. Even the tigers lifted their heads higher. The human felt it before he saw it. Something important was coming. The jungle parted ahead into a wide open clearing. Tall stone pillars stood in a circle, carved with symbols that looked older than memory. Streams of water flowed between the stones, clear and shining. At the far end of the clearing stood another tiger, larger than the rest. Its fur was pale, almost silver, with dark stripes that looked painted by hand. Armor covered its body, white and gold, polished until it reflected the light. Chains of metal and cloth moved gently along its sides, making a soft sound with every breath it took. And on its back sat the bride. She did not move when the tribe arrived. She did not look away. She watched everything with calm, steady eyes. Her armor was ceremonial, not made for war. White plates layered over flowing dark cloth. Silver markings traced her shoulders and arms, telling stories the human could not read. Her face was strong, not soft, not gentle, strong in a way that made the air feel heavier around her. The drums stopped. Silence spread across the clearing like a held breath. The leader stepped forward and bowed deeply. Every warrior followed. Even the tigers lowered their heads. The bride finally moved. She slid down from the tiger with grace and control, her feet touching the stone ground without sound. Her eyes found the human immediately. They did not wander. They did not question. They locked onto him as if she had known he would be there. The human felt a strange tightness in his chest. He had faced weapons, danger, death. But this look felt different, like being seen fully for the first time. The translator alien stepped closer, its voice quieter now, respectful. She is the first daughter of the Silent Claw, it said. She is bound to law and future. The bride spoke. Her voice was clear, calm, and powerful. The translator paused, adjusting quickly. You gave water, the bride said, her words flowing through the device. To one who carried my bond. The human blinked, confused. He looked at the injured alien, who now stood proud among the warriors. Understanding began to form, slow and heavy. The injured alien stepped forward and placed a fist to its chest. I am lifebound to her, the translator said. My death would have broken what was promised. A murmur spread through the tribe. Not anger, not fear. Respect. The bride walked closer to the human, each step measured. She stopped only a few feet away. In our law, she said, when one saves the bond-bearer, they touch the future. The human felt his throat go dry. I did not know, he said honestly. I would have done the same even if I did. The bride studied him carefully, not his strength, not his weapons, but his words. The leader raised his staff and struck the stone ground once. The sound echoed through the clearing. The law now moves forward, the translator announced. The bride must be presented. Warriors stepped aside, forming a path. The white tiger lowered itself slightly, allowing the bride to rise once more. She turned before mounting and looked at the human again. Her voice was softer now, but no less serious. You believe this ends with survival, she said. It does not. The drums began again, slower this time. The tiger roared, a sound that shook the stones and the sky. As the bride mounted the beast, the human understood one thing clearly. He had not been brought here to be judged. He had been brought here to be woven into something far bigger than himself. The procession moved again, but the feeling was no longer heavy. It was sharp, focused, like a blade held steady before a strike. The stone clearing faded behind them as the tribe guided the human toward a place hidden deep within the jungle. The air grew cooler with every step. Water flowed nearby, unseen but always heard. They stopped before a massive stone wall covered in glowing markings. The symbols shifted slowly, reacting to the presence of the bride and the leader. This is the memory hall, the translator said quietly. Here, the tribe remembers what must never be forgotten. The human stepped inside. The space opened wide, lit by soft blue light coming from the walls themselves. Images moved across the stone, like living shadows. The leader raised the staff again. The walls changed, now showing stars, ships, and unfamiliar worlds. Long ago, the translator began. Humans came to the system. The human felt his chest tighten. He had heard these stories before, but never from those who lived them. They came with machines, with promises, with hunger. The images showed humans taking water from sacred springs, breaking stone altars, laughing while the tribe watched in silence. They traded nothing, the translator continued. They took everything. The bride stepped forward, her voice calm but heavy with truth. They asked what we could offer, she said. They never asked what we needed. The images shifted again, showing warriors falling, beasts screaming, water turning dark with blood. The human lowered his head. He could not defend that past. He would not. For many cycles, the translator said, the tribe learned. Humans choose profit before life. The leader turned toward the human now, its eyes sharp but searching. You were tested, the bride said. Not by design, by chance. The image of the injured alien appeared on the wall, broken, bleeding, alone. You had nothing to gain, she continued. No witness, no reward. The human swallowed. He remembered the weight of the empty bottle, the fear that followed. You gave water, the bride said simply. That choice mattered. The walls shifted again, now showing countless worlds, different species, different laws. Strength alone does not shape the future, the leader said through the translator. Choice does. The human finally spoke, his voice steady. Then why me, he asked. There are billions of humans. The bride met his eyes. Because you chose when no one was watching, she said. Silence filled the hall. Not empty silence, but full, meaningful. The leader raised the staff one final time. The tribe will change, the translator said, because the law must serve life. Warriors struck the ground with their weapons in unison. The sound echoed like thunder. The bride stepped closer, lowering her voice. Our future requires a bridge, she said, not a ruler. The human felt the weight of those words. A bridge between species, between past and future. You will stand with us, the leader announced. Not above, not below. The hall brightened. Symbols rearranged themselves, forming new patterns. The human realized then that humanity had not been chosen for power, or technology, or conquest. Humanity had been chosen for a single quiet act. One moment of mercy, given freely. And as the memory hall closed behind them, the human understood the final truth. The test was over. The consequences were just beginning. The sky above the jungle began to shift. Clouds pulled apart slowly, revealing pale light that felt calmer than any morning before. The tribe gathered at the heart of their land, a wide open space surrounded by water streams and ancient stone. This was not a place of war. It was a place of decision. The human stood beside the leader and the bride. No chains, no guards holding him. Yet every eye was on him. Warriors formed a wide circle, their weapons lowered, their posture proud but peaceful. The leader raised the staff one final time. The sound it made against the stone echoed far into the jungle. By law, the translator said clearly. By witness, by choice. The leader pointed toward the human. This one changed the path. A deep sound rose from the tribe. Not anger, not fear. Acceptance. The injured alien stepped forward and knelt before the human. A warrior kneeling. The meaning was clear. You gave life when none was owed, the translator said. My breath continues because of you. The human felt a tightness in his chest. He had never been thanked like this before. Never been seen like this before. The bride walked forward next. She removed a small silver mark from her armor, an ancient symbol shaped like flowing water. She placed it gently into the human's hand. This mark makes you lifekin, she said. Not guest. Not tool. The tribe responded together, their voices deep and united. The jungle itself seemed to answer them. At that moment, the ground began to tremble again. But this time, it was not fear that followed. Ships appeared above the trees. Sleek tribal skycraft, painted with the same symbols as the stones below. They hovered silently, watching. This will be known, the leader said through the translator, across worlds. The human realized what that meant. His small act would travel farther than he ever had. Across systems, across species. The bride looked at him one last time before turning to her people. The future changes today, she said, and it remembers who opened the door. The tigers roared together, not in anger, but in promise, as the tribe began to move, preparing for what came next. The human looked down at his empty hands, at the memory of a water bottle that once felt so small. He understood now. Power was not in weapons, not in ships, not in fear. Power was in choice, in doing the right thing when no one was watching. And somewhere beyond this jungle, beyond this world, humanity would be remembered, not for what it took, but for what one human chose to give.